Okay, let's check out what is going on at KCOB now.
Hello everyone, this is James Pulster, and welcome back after a very long hiatus to 2064 Read-Only Memories. I know that last week episode 12 just went up, hopefully, provided I'm doing this all properly. Maybe this will be going up maybe even the same week as episode 12, but episode 12 was the last episode I recorded and was working on before finals hit me like a ton of bricks. So again, I do apologize for the long wait between episode 11 and the rest of the episodes, but now that finals are over, hopefully things will be a little bit more regular from now on. I will try to get everything edited and scheduled to go up in a nice, orderly, and regular fashion from now on. I'm still somewhat new to this, so I do apologize for that. Hopefully you guys all still want to see the rest of this series. I know Jetty does, so hopefully we can keep this going for a good while now. So, the last time we were playing, I believe we had just finished talking to Vince, and we found out about Big Blue. And now, I believe we were going to head over to KCOB to learn about these articles that are being changed, which Tomcat mentioned, if I remember correctly. So, let's punch the door.
Ready to head out?
Indeed, Turing. It has been far too long. Alright. COS.io Corporation.
Here we are. The COS.io Corporation office building. It looks like most of the businesses on this block are a part of the same corporate coalition under COS.io.
Makes sense to have them all grouped in one place then, I suppose. Is that important, though?
Well, perhaps. At the very least, it means it's unlikely they're the ones interfering with Augmented Eye's articles.
Yes, but that also means that the most convenient places to get to ask them if they are interfering are likely not the culprits, which means we probably have to walk a lot farther to find them.
Not impossible, but unlikely.
I guess we'll have to look further afield.
That makes sense.
Alright, well, let's look up. I'm not sure that's correct. Yes, the game has been updated again several times since I last played. So the UI is a little bit different in the options and save menu, because this game, I believe they've released it in Japan now, and they changed some of they had to change some of the UI to make it fit. So I believe they afterwards they brought the rest of the game languages release to match with that. But I don't think that message should be appearing here, unless that is, like, we don't know what these are, but I've never seen that message before, so yeah. Version 64.0.6C, I believe this is. We may have a bug here, mid-boss. Well, let's look at memory value not defined. Back in the 40s? Wait, the 2040s? Or the 1940s? I'm not sure here. Oh, jeez. I mean, genetic engineering has probably made many leaps and bounds. Wow, 100 species of birds in just... What? How is that even possible? Okay. Okay, we've seen it. Alright. Well, that's that. Let's... Oh. Okay, yeah, I think we've... That doesn't seem right. Yeah, about the only thing that has a memory value that is defined now. Houston, I think we may have a problem. Oh. Well, yeah, this is definitely a bug. Well, I know what the name of this episode is. Memory value not defined. Gives us a little bit of an idea of how this game, determines the words it uses for using objects and such, though.
The meshnet says Augmented Eye's SF office is run by an individual named Zin, and Tomcat confirmed she's expecting us. All we have to do now is head up and talk to her.
At least we're not barging in.
No shenanigans this time.
What are you talking about, Turing? I mean, maybe I did pull shenanigans months and months ago the last time I recorded, but I sure as heck don't remember. Yep, everything is broken. Everything is broken. Well, that's gonna make things interesting. At least you aren't broken. Alright. Gotta do it. Do we get a second message? Alright, fine. Zap! Yeah, you're not wrong. Alright, talk to you.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Augmented Eye.
I feel like I recognize your voice, but I'm not sure.
You must be the journalist my network admin said would be showing up. Have a seat. Would you like a drink?
Let's see, water would be nice.
My assistant will bring it right away. Look, I'll start off by saying I'm a little uncomfortable about bringing in another journalist to look into this. Whatever you dig up, I'll have to explain to the rest of the press. But it's still better than the other options.
Which would be?
Chances are I have another corporation scoping out my territory. If they aren't in the coalition, they'll be expecting a corporate spy, not a news hound. If they are in the coalition, it won't look good for me to send in my own reporters against my allies.
Yeah, I suppose not. Either way, we'll catch him by surprise.
Even if I do end up being right. So if I'm damned either way, I'd rather it be by the media.
I don't know, I feel like the media is the last person you would want to have dirt on you, but, I guess if you are in the media business, maybe that's not such a bad thing.
At least then we can fight back on a familiar battlefield.
Ah, true.
Now, what do you know about our problem here?
Someone is tampering with your articles on the mesh?
That's the long and short of it. My network admin is pulling their hair out over it. I'm not going to pretend I understand everything they say, but from what I understand, the changes to our articles aren't being made from inside our network. The versions on our servers are still the originals, but at some point after they hit the mesh, they get changed.
So, like, when you access a web page, I don't know how the web works in 2064, but nowadays that would mean that the web pages are obviously stored on a server somewhere. And when you want to view them from your browser, you would tell the server, hey, can you send me this web page or this article? and then it's going, and then the server responds and sends you it, and while it's being sent to the person that requested it, that wants to read it, they are getting changed in transit. I don't know if that's how it would work all these years in the future still, but, because I mean, now they probably have to go just pass through a ton of different transfer points because it is a mesh net after all. So, I'd imagine that would be incredibly difficult to figure out where it was being changed if some individual was doing it. Or even if it's possible for an individual or even a group of people to do that, considering there's no guarantee that the data is necessarily going to pass through a specific location, because if it transfers through a big mesh, that's geographically important where it gets sent to, where the person is that's requesting it. Because in order for it to be changed, you would have to make sure that you'd literally need like a perimeter around the news station within very close proximity to ensure that everyone who reads the article, or even that most people who read the article, would be reading the change one, because you'd have to make sure that the article passes through your specific node on the net so that you can alter it on its way. I'm probably thinking way too much into this, and maybe I'm missing, or maybe I'm just forgetting some context that they talked about earlier, but I feel like that would be really, really difficult to pull off, at least in today's internet.
I'm hoping that you can do some digging. Maybe hit up your contacts and get a lead on who might be doing it.
Or we can just talk about it for another 20 minutes. I'm totally good with that.
Even if I have to get answers from the nightly news, it will be a big help.
Well, what kind of changes are being made?
Mostly little things. Word choice, tone of the writing, things that make the writer appear more or less extreme on a topic.
I guess small changes like that, you know, I don't think they ever actually did mention how many people are seeing these changed versions, or whether or not it's everyone who views it is seeing the changed version, but at the very least that makes it a little more plausible if it's just very, very slight changes. Because although you'd need probably a somewhat complex algorithm to figure out the context of all the different phrases and what to change and how to change it to change the sort of the sound or the tone behind the article, if you're only changing maybe a sentence or a word in every article, or a couple of those, it would still probably be fairly quick to calculate and reformat and then send the data back out to whoever's requesting it, so they wouldn't notice too much delay. Once again, this episode's probably going to be just me speculating on how this is even possible, or how someone might do this.
So far, almost all of the edits seem to be making our articles more positive on new technologies coming out, and more critical of organizations like the Human Revolution.
So was it the Human Revolution that perhaps clued you in on the fact that these articles are being changed in the first place? Also, is that a Super Nintendo back there? I think that's a Super Nintendo. I don't know if I'm going to be able to look at that. I don't know whether this scene is scripted to just have us leave immediately. Darn, I should have looked at that.
That's actually what tipped us off.
Oh hey, I was right. Hindsight's foresight's 2020.
A harsh criticism one of my writers made about the Human Revolution protests was changed to be downright vitriolic, and I had a hell of a time putting out the fires.
Ooh.
My writers and readers aren't exactly fans of them, but I'd rather not pick fights with the Human Revolution if I don't have to.
Ain't that the truth? Also, I think that's like a fedora or something like it with a feather in it or something. I can't tell. Again, very low resolution pixel art, but I think that's like a hat with a feather in it or something. Or no, of course, this is a journalist place. It's probably like the typical little journalist hat with like a pencil stuck in the brim. What am I thinking? Why are you so sure this isn't an inside job?
I guess I'm not, but my network admin assures me it's all coming from somewhere else. They told me that they tore out all of the routers that broadcast to the mesh and replaced them with fresh ones.
I mean, I don't know how effective that would actually be in trying to fix the problem, but I guess if somebody installed malware onto all of your routers, or one of your routers at least, then I guess the software might be able to do that, but you'd need some high-powered routers to make that kind of, to run that kind of word searching and learning algorithm to figure out what they need to change.
All kinds of tricks involving IP addresses and DNS changes that I'm not going to even begin to claim to understand.
So they still use IP and DNS in the future, even with the meshnet. I suppose you'd need something like that on a place like the meshnet where, making 2 left turns isn't always going to put you, where making 4 left turns isn't going to end you up in the same place.
I pay them big bucks, so I'm inclined to believe them unless you dig up something that tells me otherwise.
I guess we'll have to see. Do you have any idea where I should start looking?
Not really. My admin says that only someone with intimate access to Parallax's network protocols could make these kind of changes as something passes across the net.
That would have been useful if we could have, perhaps asked Vince about this.
Personally, I think it's a clever hacker rather than someone inside Parallax itself.
That is probably more likely.
The public trust rating of Parallax makes them look like a saint among wolves, so their control over the mesh network provisions is strangling.
But with that being the case, actually, now that I think about it, if Parallax is trying to push out something new like, say, Big Blue, perhaps it is someone in Parallax. Perhaps they're trying to subtly sway public opinion, kind of unconsciously change their opinion to be more favorable towards new technologies in preparation for Big Blue's release. I think actually that might be a likely case.
It's trivially easy to set up ROMs to use a different OS than LIPS or a different meshnet protocol without that trust. Or, Parallax is abusing its power to spread pro-tech propaganda. Doubtful they need to.
True. I wouldn't have too much reason, but I mean, just in case, maybe?
I'm sure you'll be a good journo and bring me back the right answer.
Only if you stop calling me Journo. Okay, that's a start, I guess.
I know tin hat conspiracies aren't an ideal start, but it's the best we can do with the info we have. Anything else I can tell you, off the record? If you want it on the record, it'll cost you your firstborn and a really good cigar.
That's an oddly specific request. Can you think of any reason why you're being targeted?
Like what? There isn't much more I can tell you about Augmented Eye, really. It's a fairly simple and straightforward operation, if I say so myself. We started off in Venezuela as a sleek current events and news organization in 2055, almost 10 years ago now. We focus on more in-depth reporting of on-the-street happenings, on top of major news. We're one of the few good ones left. Once folks in other cities saw the type of reporting we do, they all clamored for it. They invested in the right places, and it paid off. COS-IO Corp is happy to have us here in the OSF. It wasn't until hybrid tech started hitting the public sphere that we had to make any changes to our model. All of that said, I can't see why anyone would target us. Unless they're just trying to embroil us in a mudslinging match with the human revolution, and there are much more direct ways of making that happen.
Know if anyone else has articles being manipulated?
Alright, look. I wasn't going to tell you this. If it gets out, I'd have to answer some really hard questions. So, you didn't hear this from me. You might want to gonna go check out TMI Entertainment and Charlie Nova.
Alright.
That's all I'll say. And remember, you take a bite out of him with my name as your defense, I drop you fast.
Okay. What's the real reason you're bringing in outside help? Your own journalist should be able to handle up digging some dirt on a hacker. Bleh. Your own journalist should be able to handle digging up some dirt on a hacker, shouldn't they?
What? Not wanting to answer prying questions from my coalition board isn't a good enough reason?
Not entirely. We're a journalist. Come on, give me some credit here.
'Cause I'd really like to avoid that. And look, you've covered culture wars, right? My journalists are good, but they're mostly good at gadget reviews, implant releases, not taking too many stims so they remember what they did at raves for the after-party reports.
Wow. That's new. I don't know any news corporations nowadays that do anything remotely like that.
This needs an investigative journalist with serious contacts, not tech personalities.
Fair enough, I suppose.
The fact that my network admin recommended you to me means you probably know the right people.
Yeah, I suppose.
Now, does that cover it? I'd like to remove my nose from your ass.
Okay. That's it for now. I'll get back to you if I have more questions, though.
No, don't bother. In hindsight, I probably should have been a bit more circumspect about speaking to you.
Oh.
Plausible deniability and all that. I won't ask you to lie in anything you write, but do remember you got in contact with me not even secondhand, but third hand. I certainly didn't sick you on anyone.
Understood.
Wink wink, nudge nudge, or whatever. If you need anything else, have your person get with my person. Don't come here directly.
Right, so just have Turing come in. I think Turing is the only person that qualifies as my person.
Now, I'd show you the door, but you know the way. And this isn't the only fire I'm trying to put out.
Actually, I suppose Turing wouldn't even count as my person since he is technically an independent machine.
Good luck, and goodbye.
Well, that was more confrontational than I'd have expected, considering she was the one needing help.
She's a journalist. What are you gonna do?
She never brought you that water either.
Oh, you know what? She didn't.
Is it always like this?
Let's see. She knows the game, but we didn't walk away with nothing.
Very true. I will admit that I am interested in the possibility of a link back to Parallax. If all of this really is due to somebody manipulating the mesh net on the inside, it may give us the leverage we need to find out what happened to Hayden once and for all.
Indeed.
That said, I will take care not to get my hopes up. We should make no assumptions when investigating, lest we lead ourselves down a false path.
Ain't that the truth?
Anyway, seems like our next step is... What the...
Oh, is that... Oh...
What the... That's Zin!
Okay. Okay. Oh, come on, guy. What the hell happened?
She was defenestrated.
Obviously. And yes, I do know what that means, but seriously, come on, Turing.
Emergency services are already on the way, and we are severely ill-equipped to help her. We should head back to her office and see if we can determine what happened here. Perhaps we can still dispense justice. This is how we dispense justice, right?
Darn right it is.
It looks like the desk has been cleared off. Let's take a look around, but be careful not to disturb any evidence. The police will be here soon.
Yeah, we wouldn't want Lexi on our case, that's for sure. Alright, let's look at this. Oh, come on. Superman. Alright. And watermelons? I'm sorry. Is there more than 2? What? I want to see how many there are here. Oh, dude, some super slam dunk touchdown. Awesome, dude. Oh my, he's on fire! Pretty sure the VR version actually wouldn't be too dissimilar to the non-VR version. Smooth operator. Oh, I don't know what game they're referring to there, but that's funny. Oh, I'm so glad that there are so many options here. This is why I love this game. Where in the galaxy is Kremlin San Antonio? Oh. Okay. Was not expecting that response. Did the police just come in after a while? I have no idea. Okay, we've looped back around. Okay. Let's look at the memory value not defined. I keep forgetting about that.
Her personal computer is not password protected at the moment. Give me a moment to look through her files. Best to keep your fingerprints off of the keyboard. Most of this isn't very interesting. Committee reports, financials, article submissions. Oh, here we go. According to this email between Zin and her network admin, her lead on TMI Entertainment is a little more solid than she led us to believe.
I mean, that makes sense.
The admin ran a web crawler looking for changes in writing styles. Some blog posts by their head anchor Charlie Nova stood out like a sore thumb.
Oh, really?
Apparently he's a bit pompous, if in an affable way, and his blog usually just details his day-to-day life.
Already?
But ever since the human revolution has been in town, he's been smearing them with more venom than you'd expect, considering how neutral his on-air reporting has been.
Sounds suspicious.
Zin seemed to think he was just complaining about the protesters fouling up traffic, and whoever is manipulating these posts spun it to make him look critical of the movement as a whole.
Interesting.
Just like the augmented eye journalist. This Charlie fellow is the one we need to talk to.
Alright, well, let's get to it then. Alright, Let's scram.
We can't leave without finding a clue.
Oh, right.
Let's continue looking around, but be careful not to disturb any evidence.
Alright, how about this memory value not defined over here?
My thermal sensors only detect a single set of lingering footprints, and they end almost 3 feet away from the window.
Wait, so somebody pushed them from 3... Well, I mean, 3 feet isn't that far away from the window. But only... Wait. So wouldn't those be Zin's footprints? So Zin was 3 feet away from the window and somebody pushed her without leaving footprints anywhere in the room and pushed her from 3 feet away all the way through the window.
Considering the density of this glass, I can't imagine Zin jumped from that far and managed to throw herself through the pane without help.
Or that she would mess up the entire office like this.
But who could have done it? I don't see any obvious marks on the floor or any other thermal hotspots.
Well, we better check around behind us, make sure nobody zaps us like they did last time. So you're saying no one else was in here?
It doesn't look like it. We should go. There isn't anything else here, and the police are almost on the scene.
Yeah, probably because we took so long staring at her super fam collection.
Son of a...
Oh no. We took too long.
I should have figured the two of you would be here.
Hi, Lexi.
You just won't stay out of trouble no matter what I say, will you?
Okay, you've got the wrong idea. Yeah, this is a total misunderstanding.
I assure you, Detective Rivers, we are merely in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Again.
We had an appointment with Zin to discuss a possible lead and found her office in this state of disrepair.
Well, that's not exactly what happened.
Of course you did. Damn it. Fine. Get the hell out of here before anyone else shows up. We'll chat about the case more when I'm not busy scraping bodies off the pavement. You hear me?
Jeez.
Certainly, Detective Rivers. I'll forward you a report of what we know immediately, and we can speak further at a later time.
Yeah, whatever. Get moving.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we got out just in time, I think. Let's see. I didn't think she would buy it. She wouldn't have from me.
It doesn't matter anyway. Detective Rivers has every bit of information that Zin gave us on that computer. Her investigation will not be hampered by our absence, whereas ours is halted if we're stuck giving answers she can just as well get from a hard drive. Has it occurred to you that whoever threw Zin out of that window could be after the same thing we are, except to silence the story rather than to get it out?
We can't have that.
We have little time for fooling about and must get to Charlie Nova before something happens to him too.
Indeed.
I have highlighted the main Neo SF offices for TMI Entertainment on your map.
All right.
Let's go.
Indeed. All right. Hurry.